telling something, they do like this, this thing, and then they realize that they don't want to freak me out, so then they try to act normal, but instead they actually come off even crazier, because then they're like, yes.
What would you like to drink?
And then yeah, and then they just look at me, I'm like, please don't. And now suddenly someone else at the other table is going, why is that guy? And then I'm like, no, I know. Hold on a second. You know, it just keeps spiraling down.
It's like a Mexican wave of fan weirdness of everything.
No, it's just, you know, and New York is such a small, I mean, London's a small city. You know, you walk down the street, you run into people left and right. Sometimes, like, you're not thinking you're going to run into a person you're seeing somewhere, you know. So it's always, but those are kind of the funniest to me, because, and especially when anybody kind of stops me on the way and goes,
But do you ever just kind of forget and go, you know what, I've just rolled out of bed and someone's doing this, and you're going, what? Like...
No, I know exactly what that is.
So tell me, what's the most fun that you've had playing this character so far?
I loved, like, Civil War was a lot of fun for me, and Winter Soldier was a lot of fun, because it was just, you know, I got to do, all the fighting stuff was incredible, and, you know. Anthony Mackie doesn't really do any of his stunts. You know why? Because he's on a wire. I believe somebody even left him up there one time when we were having lunch, so we can have some quiet at lunch.
I love the interactions you have with Anthony Mackie.
Oh.
Is he like your main bud on set?
Well, apparently he's going around telling people I'm not fun. That's not cool. We didn't speak about that.
I guess
a lot of fun.
I guess duos, there's always like a fun one and a more serious one.
Well, I would definitely be the more serious one
There's
out
nothing
of the
wrong with
two.
that. What do you guys think? It's fine, right?
I'm definitely much more serious than he is, for sure.
Bit of light and dark. And now, you guys all know, we know there's time travel involved in Endgame. Sorry, I should have said spoiler alert before, but I assume you nerds know what I'm talking about. So I've got a series of time...
People in the front really have a lot to say about time travel.
I've got a series of time travel questions for you.
Okay.
Here we go. Right, strap yourself in. Okay, in Endgame, okay, so you've also starred in time travel comedy Hot Tub Time Machine. Which I love. It's one of like my favourites in the last sort of 10 or so years. Firstly, if you could travel back to the point you took this role, okay, what advice would you give yourself?
To the point I took the Bucky Barnes role.
Yes.
What advice would I give myself? Probably enjoy it more, you know, like just, you know, this is a very hard business in a lot of ways, and you know, it's easy to forget to have fun, but I guess, like, and I kind of always remind myself, you know, I mean, I think I was so scared, like, getting this role when it, you know, 10 years ago, whatever it was, that, like, I wish I could have just gone back and been like, you know what, listen, you got this job for a reason, you just own it, be yourself, and trust in that, you know, and I think that kind of is something that you can apply to a lot of different situations, you know, you just gotta try and trust ourselves.
Yes, enjoy, and enjoy. Okay, so let's go further back in time, okay? So if you had a choice to travel all the way back to the past to visit yourself, or jump to the future and see how your career goes, which would you choose? A bit heavy after lunch, actually. Sorry for that, we've just eaten.
Heady after lunch. If I have a chance to go back in time or into the future, I don't know. I think I would probably, you know, you always sort of want to go back in time, right? I mean, it feels like you could just, if I could turn back.
Yes,
No, but like, you know, if you could go back in time and like help change certain things. Yeah, like, I mean, we're always going to be haunted by that idea, so I'd probably pick that. You know, the future should be a surprise. I mean, my God, if we start knowing what's going to happen all the time, you know, what's the fun of it all? I mean, that's the problem with spoilers and stuff. It's like, why even, what, like, you're going to see what's going to happen, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to get there, but it's fun to kind of not know.
Is there a point in time you travel back, like would you go to when you're, you know, a wee boy, or would you go to when you're a teenager, or maybe, I don't think I'd like to visit my teenage self, or I would just go, you know, those 90s fashion.
All those years were very turbulent years. No, I would, yeah, maybe, I don't know, I don't know, I was, you know, being 15 and in camp, you know, like, learning how to do this was a lot of fun. I think that might be fun to kind of maybe experience for like an hour and then quickly go leave.
Nobody wants to experience the teenage times again.
Right.
But even for longer than
Mine were okay. Once I got a little taller, it was a little better.
No, mine were all about 90s shell suits. And
that's when I used to have an accent. It's very interesting.
You had an accent?
I had a little bit of an accent when I was like 12, 13, 14. You know, yeah.
So, I'm going to leave the time travel questions now. Okay, because I want to bring it back to, let's talk about the Infinity Gauntlet for a minute, okay? So, fun one, if you had the Infinity Gauntlet for a day, what would you do with it?
I don't know, cure cancer, cure AIDS, stop war. I mean, like, there's a gazillion things he could have done with it instead of doing what he did. Yeah, eliminating 50% of the population, that's no, it's hard to imagine, you know, having something like that and not want to have the responsibility of using it in the right way. But I think the first thing that is probably just stop war.
Yeah, sort the big shit out, basically. Now, we're going to see you again, okay, in the Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus series. Woo! People that are kind of looking forward to that. So can you tell us anything about this at all? Give us a flavour of what to expect.
Well, per usual, I don't know.
Japes.
I think you know, I'm looking forward to. I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's going to be an opportunity in a lot of ways to explore these characters in probably ways we haven't seen. You know, it's kind of crazy to me how television sort of, in a way, has changed so much in the last couple of years. And sometimes you get to see, like with Game of Thrones, I know we're not gonna talk about the last season but you know, you get to see the evolution of these characters in such a way, you know, and so the idea of actually having, you know, 6 to 8 episodes to be able to really explore certain things you haven't seen yet. You know, I think that's a good general way of talking about not anything specific, right?
Yeah. No spoilers. So tell me, it's got a bit of a buddy cop feel. It's going to have more of that vibe about it. Hopefully, it will. Will we see Bucky having a bit more of a laugh? Just letting his hair down, just going for it.
His hair is down.
Well, flipping his hair back and forth, doing his thing.
Listen, the whole weave thing is just, it's way too, no, I don't know, maybe he has a haircut.
Woo!
I don't know anything. I don't know yet. Okay.
You not fan of the long hair then?
No, I like the long hair. You know, it was nice, but it's hard. It's hard to have long hair. You guys know, you have to, it's like you wake up in the morning and then this, and you're like, what happened?
My husband has long hair and it's a 3-stage.
I feel like I ate a lot of my hair when I was especially at lunch. Like, anyway. I don't know.
Now, continue with the buddy cop theme. If you could star in any buddy cop movie, past or present.
Buddy cop movie? I'm starting one.
Apart from, what would it be?
Buddy cop movie.
Yeah. There are so many.
Look, I'm gonna keep saying it. They're remaking 48 Hours, And I think Anthony Mackie and I should have a chance at that. That's what I'm saying. I'm on it. Those Safdie brothers are not returning any of my emails, so I'll just have to track them down as best as I can.
Right, so it brings me to another question. This is from Nikki Nicolaidou via Instagram. Will it feel differently portraying Bucky now without Steve?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know because for as much as we've known, those storylines were integrated. So how will his absence or sort of exactly, like, I have no idea how that would be, and I don't know if he's gonna know how that's gonna be either.
So I stumbled across your 1 Minute Men. I think you got a few fans of that here as well.
There are things in my mind that I think make sense in my mind.
I've seen places you people wouldn't believe.
Yeah. Okay. What about it?
So tell me, why did you decide to start making these fun, short, random videos?
My friend and I just, I'll tell you honestly, it's like somewhere in the back of my head, like one day I'd love to try my hand at like directing something, and for some reason my friend and I have a very similar sense of humor, and we just like to laugh at ourselves a lot, and it's just an opportunity to kind of like have a laugh and see how we can like edit crazy stuff very quickly. So that's all it came from. But if you ever have any ideas, just let us know, and maybe we can act them out. God, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah, I let you go for that because I was like, okay, you might
be kind,
Like, yeah, you might be digging your own grave there. So you mentioned directing, all right? So that's something you'd like to try at one point?
Yeah, well, it's only in the last couple of years that I've become so in awe of directors and the movie making aspect. As an actor, I used to only see myself in the scenes and my contribution, but then I realized, wait a minute, you're part of this big thing, and there's always a sense of vision and just the way that you can tell stories visually with sound, the whole editing and the way you can, it just fascinates me. So it's just more, it would be nice to kind of find something that could make sense at some point, but I'm still very far away from that.
Maybe you'll try your hand, it'd be good for the new Disney Plus series, maybe you could like
I'll never let Mabel. It's a high bar. But we got an awesome director. Really excited. Yeah. So.
Right. Let's talk about your future stuff. Okay. Because you're going to be starring in 355 along with Jessica Chastain.
Right.
So I read that this is flipping the espionage genre on its head. So is there anything else you can tell us about the film?
Listen, no. Other than it's going to star probably some of the most badass, powerful, unbelievable women we have in the world on screen, and I was just really excited to kind of join and be able to I'm gonna do the best I can to keep up. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to.
Oh, you will.
But it's a really smart script, and it was really funny and real and brutal also in a very different way than we've seen, I feel like. So I'm excited about it. That's all I can do.
What made you decide to say yes or no to a role when you get a script through?
Well, I got a chance to work with Jessica before on The Martian, and we didn't really have a lot of stuff there, but I really enjoyed working with her, and so the second she called me, I immediately said I'm in 100%. And I think sometimes you want to work with the people that you get along with and you respect and can elevate you, and I just always felt I was a better actor if I'm opposite somebody that I feel is, you know, better, stronger, you know, in a way, and will challenge me. And so I just try to seek material where I'm put in that situation where I have to really show up.
What made you decide to sort of choose that career and go, I really want to be an actor, this is it? Was there something that inspired you?
Yeah, trauma. No, but probably. I mean, look, you know, it was the only way that I found myself felt made sense to me when I was a teenager and I came from, you know, a foreign country. I wasn't born in the US, you know, I was from Romania. I came and I was very lost in a lot of ways, and it was what made sense to me in terms of like finding what I had fun doing and felt like I had a sense of belonging in a way. And so, you know, it just made sense, and I'm lucky that I had, you know, I had a mom who was very supportive of that, you know, and gave me that opportunity, because sometimes there's a lot of, you know, I think there's so many creative people out there, and it's just, it's a hard battle. If you're, you know, I see so many people that show me these unbelievable drawings and artwork that they do, and I'm always like, don't ever stop, please don't ever stop, because we have so many things in this world that kind of, you know, want to prevent us from being creative, and you know, you got to stay on that path, because I think it's so fulfilling in the long run. So
completely right. It's what keeps the culture going, like creative.
we need to have that sense of self-expression. It's the way I think we learn from it.
100%. And so, are there any aspiring actors out there? A few, yeah, quite a few. Do you have any advice for those cutting their teeth, trying to get their foot in the door? What would you say to people kind of who are a bit nervous or scared about starting?
Look, I mean, it's tough now. I mean, it's really hard because we live in a world where apparently, you know, no matter what you do, like, we're taught to, you know, you have to pay attention to what other people say and all that stuff. But the thing is, you have to really not care what other people think. And you have to just do what you're going to do. Yeah. And I think that doesn't go just for acting. I mean, you just have to be yourself and you know, don't pay attention to criticism.
I wish I knew that when I was younger. It's one of those things you learn as you're older.
You don't. You learn it along the way, you know?
Yeah, I always like look at younger people who feel like that and go, God.
But I always feel like the thing about criticism you gotta remember is usually it's those people that are projecting something that they're experiencing in their own life. And it's actually quite sad if you think about it. But the way that they project it onto other people is in a negative way, you know? So you just have to know and decipher who is your constructive criticism, you know, who's giving you something constructive that you can use, you know. There's something gotta be more interesting to say than, oh, I don't like that, or this sucks, or this, that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're 100% right. And I think definitely with social media, I think people are quicker to go, that's rubbish, and, you know, and actually, my mum always said to me, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. I'm much more of the positive angle.
You know, to each his own, you know. But you have to know yourself, and that's the bottom line. And a lot of that comes with the company you keep.
Sage advice, thank you. Now we've got another.
Really heavy.
Yeah, God, Sebastian. He's had a bit of lunch, and now he's sitting here dishing out life advice, which is good.
Yeah.
Now we've got another fan question for you. It's a video message, right? This person sent it in to me, and they are absolutely your biggest fan, okay? So we're gonna watch it here. Can we get the video, please?
Hey, Sil. I have a question for you. What was it like playing Sheriff Bodecker in The Devil All the Time, and finally getting to work? Hope you're all mate, listening,
Yes.
Thank you to lovely Tom there.
You know, I can't escape that man. I really shit you not. I ran into him on the street last night. I wasn't looking for him, and yet there he was. And I asked him, I was like, "Are you gonna be here tomorrow?" I guess he was leaving town, but yeah, it's he's referencing this movie that we did together where I got to chase him around with a shotgun. It was probably a highlight of my career.
Now, I'm going to play a fun game with you.
No.
But before I play the fun game, if you have a question for Sebastian, there's a mic there and there's a mic there. Oh my goodness, we've got, oh my god, what's wrong with this side of the room? Are you sleeping? Come on. Oh, there we go, right, wow. And they were like, oh god, when is she going to say it? Just say it already. Right, okay guys, so queue up, we'll try and get through as many as we possibly can. Right, we're going to play the game of either or. Okay, so I'm going to just read out these things and you just say which you prefer. Okay, they're all good. It's all good stuff. Okay, movie at the cinema or Netflix and chill?
No, I still like going to the movies.
Yay!
But I do Netflix and chill every single
Captain America: The First Avenger or Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. By the way, isn't there a movie out right now, The Rise of Skywalker or something? What's it called?
Yeah. It's one coming out then.
It is, there's one coming out, right?
Yeah.
Not in it.
Sci-fi or fantasy?
Sci-fi, definitely sci-fi.
Shower or bath?
No, shower. Shower.
Pacino or De Niro?
God. I'll just go with Robert De Niro for now.
Okay, Captain America's shield or Thor's hammer? Ooh, controversial!
The shield, because I probably couldn't pick up the hammer.
Or could you? Black Widow or Captain Marvel?
Black Widow. That one was pretty easy though, you know.
Okay.
I'm biased.
Hair, long or short?
I'll go with long.
Okay, so the last one. Who would win in a fight? Chuck Norris or John Wick?
John Wick.
Yes!
What an incredible series.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
So good. Love. And there's a fourth one coming out. Oh my god, so excited. But we're here to talk about Bucky and all things Bucky. So, we have questions. I see the longest line in the world. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the right-hand side of the room because you guys were keen beans. Let's go. Lovely lady there in the lovely dress.
Hi, I wanted to ask what you prefer. Do you prefer to play bad guys or good guys?
Oh, to, like characters to play?
Yeah.
It's always a little bit more fun to play, you know, the bad guys or whatever. I mean, in a way, it's always more, you know, it's interesting because you want to know why they're bad or whatever, you know. But yeah, I guess lately I've had more of a share of the badder characters, but I can play a good guy. I can. No, I can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Right, we're flying over to this side, lovely lady here. What's your question?
Well, hi, first of all. I'm really nervous, sorry. It's more of a request than a question, but we were wondering if you could maybe say, I love London in Romanian.
Want me to say I love London in Romanian?
Yeah.
London te iubesc foarte mult. Mulțumesc că ați venit în ziua asta. Wow, I haven't spoken in a long time.
Oh, that sounded good to me, but I can't speak Romanian.
I know.
I approve.
If you said anything there,
No.
Thank you very much for your request. Let's fly on over here. Is that a Wayne's World cap? No.
No, that's a Bucky Barnes protection.
Sorry, I can't see my contacts are dragging.
Lucky Barnes Protection Squad.
Oh, sorry, Wayne's World. Bloody hell. Okay, go for it. Please ask your question.
How did Bucky feel when Steve went back into the past to live with Peggy?
The internet. Look, I mean, he was happy for him, obviously. I mean, the man has thought about this woman for a really long time. So, in my opinion, he was happy.
Thank you so much for your question. Let's go over here. Oh my god, amazing flight suit. Okay, go for it. Let's do it.
Hi, so we talked a lot about endings and like character arcs mentioned with ending. I was wondering if you could go back to any character that you've played and change their ending, which character would it be and why?
Ooh. Good luck.
Sorry.
Putting you through your
Tough.
paces today.
I don't know, because I've played some not so great characters, so, well, when you say that, my mind goes to these two TV shows I did a while back ago, one called Kings and the other one called Political Animals. I never got a chance to see, it never felt like we arrived at an ending, or we never got a chance to see what was happening with those characters. So I would probably like to go back, maybe to that opportunity to sort of see how they turn out.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Sorry, really getting into it today.
Yeah.
Okay, over here, please.
Buenos dias.
Okay, first thanks for coming in London, and we hope you can enjoy your time here.
Thank you.
And my question is do you have any plan to go back to the theater stage in the next few years?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always checking. In fact, right before, I think about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my agents about really wanting to find something for next year, and so I'm looking at that. But sometimes you have to really remind people that that's something you want to do. So I would love to do that because, there's something very magical that happens, when it's like we're all here and it's sort of vice versa. And so hopefully next year maybe the right thing happens.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. Mask. Thank you. Over here, please. Next question.
Hi. What's your favourite memory with Chris Evans on set?
Say that again?
What's your favourite memory with Chris Evans on set?
What's my favorite memory with Chris Evans? At first I thought you said sunset.
That too. Favorite memory.
Maybe there was a moment with Chris on a sunset. I think we laughed a lot. Here's the thing about being back in London. I mean, this is why it's so. Sometimes, like I was walking around yesterday, and we shot the first Captain America here, first Avenger we shot in London, and I was walking around, and I remembered all the places I used to go, and sort of get food at, and so on, and I think he and I had a really great time at that during that movie, because I remember that was the first time we connected, and the first time we were kind of exploring the friendship and the characters, and we would hang out a lot in London. So maybe any of those movies would do it. Yeah, he's very funny, very funny.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're flying over to this side of the room. Go for it.
Hi. My question is, what do you think Bucky would do if he got the time stone?
What would Bucky do if he had the time stone?
What would Bucky do if he got the time stone? Get the hell out of there. No, if he got the time stone, of course he would go back to face himself in the 70s, and then it would have to be two Winter Soldiers, one against the other, and then he would have to face himself and stop himself from creating about 864 assassinations.
Thank you very much. Okay, over here.
So your mom's a musician, and I was wondering if you have any musical talent other than karaoke.
She was, yeah, she's a pianist, and there was a time when she really was trying to teach me piano, but I had such little, I couldn't sit still at the piano. I just was like moving around all the time. So, and she didn't want to force me. She saw, okay, like that's not where naturally he's going, so I'll just let him. But sadly, I always wish that I'm in awe of people that play instruments because it's so fascinating to me. But I don't think I ever got the instrument gene. I mean, from her. I mean, the patience sort of I didn't have, unfortunately. So now it's just karaoke.
Thank you very much. Okay, over here, your question?
Hi, I want to talk about Astoria. I think it's one of your finest performances ever. And your chemistry with Nicole was just beautiful. I was wondering, the process of Chris and Bucky, was it different? And did you work on the chemistry of Nicole before filming?
Well, look, every time it's different because you can't, that's the funny thing about this whole thing is you learn each time something new about, acting or what you're doing in the process, but you're always having to kind of relearn everything because it depends on the people that you're working with, and everybody's different. Chris and I were obviously we're going to play, brothers, and we were supposed to be, have this sort of friendship and this blood kind of like family, familial kind of connection, and so it was very easy to hang out and spend time and get to know each other, and so. Nicole I didn't get to see until we started shooting, and it was somebody I'd always respected and was sort of in awe of, and so it's not like I could go and bang on a trailer and be like, hi, but you adjust to everybody, and those are very, that movie is very different obviously than these movies, but that's part of the fun. It's just always kind of getting a new experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Over here, please.
Bună ziua, Sebastian. Eu sunt Dana. Eu sunt 18 and eu sunt de Scotia. Sorry, I'm really nervous.
You're from Scotland?
Yes, and I've just turned 18 as well.
Wow, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's what we should.
Thank you. Because this is kind of like my 18th birthday, I'm just going to ask the question in English. I've been learning Romanian because of you since July last year, and I'm still not fluent, but is there anything?
I'm amazed. I really am.
Thank you. That's the biggest compliment I could have. Thank you.
I should thank you.
Is there anything about the Romanian language you love, and is there also anything about Romanian culture that you love?
Well, I left Romania when I was really, really young, and I finally got to go back last year for the first time in 14 years. And so I feel like for me, the last couple of years have been major re-education about where I'm from. When I left, things were not that great in the country, and I just wanted to be like everyone else, and so it took me a long time to come back around. But Romanian is a Romance language. It comes from Latin. It has similarities to Italian and Spanish, and there's Slavic undertones. There's a certain kind of perseverance that I've always seen in Romanian people, that I've always admired, and a sense of honesty that I've always sort of respected in a way, good or bad. I've had people just sort of say the truth each time, and so I don't know, I really respect that in a way. So that's probably something I really like, but you are fucking amazing.
And happy birthday.
My hat off to you. Thank you for even being interested and curious that way.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, next over here, please.
Hi. So my question is about how do you prepare yourself as Bucky? Do you have any challenge fight scene? And also, do you know any Portuguese word?
I know any Portuguese words?
Yes.
No. What's a Portuguese word I should know?
Thank you. You can say obrigada.
Obrigado.
Yes.
Yes!
Obrigado. How do I prepare for Bucky?
Yes.
I mean, now I feel like it's kind of like riding a bike and stuff. You know, every time there's a familiarity, sort of, in a way that comes very easy, just because, you know, I've been playing the character for 10 years to some extent. He's been in my life, so I just kind of listen and, you know, go. Like sometimes there are times where I literally sit there before a take and I go, all right, man, like go ahead. Tell me, what do you want me to know right now about this scene? What should I know? Tell me what I need to, how do I serve you as best as I can now? And then I'll listen to what happens.
Thank you very much. Obrigado.
Yeah, it was about the fight scenes. You prepare for those that you...
Oh, the fight scenes.
Yes.
The fight scenes are just repetition, like it's non-stop. I mean, you just have to keep, you know, doing it, because you don't want it to look like it's planned, but you have to really learn, you know, be very safe and careful, and you do end up hitting each other sometimes, even though you don't want to, you know.
Thank you. Okay, let's squidge over here. Go for it.
Sorry, I'm really nervous. At the end of Endgame, Bucky says to Steve, "I'll miss you." Do you think that's because Steve had a conversation about it with him before, or Bucky just knew?
No, they had, when I found out that we were doing that scene, which was probably about 40 minutes before it was filmed, I said, but don't you think, I mean, like, if this is really happening, wouldn't there be something more to be said, you know? But then, you know, the Russos were like, look, you guys you've had that conversation, you know, you've had that moment, you know what's gonna happen, you know what he's doing. And so that last interaction there has got sort of a lot of subtext, which is like, all right, here we are, you know, I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you. Okay, lady in the green dress over here.
Thank you. Hi, Seth. So my question is, so we know that many years ago you have spent 1 year studying in London at the Shakespeare Global Theatre. So because I am moving to London student as a foreign student as well, so just wondering what was your best memory about studying in London? Thank you.
God, my best memory about studying in London was, I just love the city, I really do. I mean, I just think, you know, you can be whoever you want to be, and you know, it's like, I don't know, something about the history here is that we don't have in the States is incredible to me. You know, so much like has happened here. You know, the history is what really gets me, I guess. And so something like the Globe was incredible because, you know, not only are you now part of, you know, for a small moment of time, like all these things and all these people that have gone there. But so I think of London that way. It's like, to me, it always felt like almost like the heart of Europe in a way for me, you know. So it's a great city. I hope you're gonna love it.
Thank you so much. What your best? Do your best.
Thank you. Good luck with your move. Okay, last question over here.
Hi. I was wondering if Bucky would go to space, who would he bring as a team to,
Go to space. Probably I'm Groot. Because then he could actually have someone, you know, who's gonna let him talk. You could just tell him everything, and then I'm Groot. That's all. I don't know. That's what I would take.
Thank you so much for your question. Thank you, guys. Have you enjoyed that?
You're leading the way.
No, not at all. You guys, stand up.
All right, I'll see you guys back over there.
Everyone, say goodbye to
Thank you,
Philip and
guys.
Sebastian Stan.